it's Carla from Illy Insurance Agency, and this month we are just discussing liability insurance, specifically as it deals with investors and landlords. Quick shout out to Daniel Harvey from the Facebook group Bragg. He had us at his monthly meeting last Wednesday in which we talked to investors, and we really enjoyed it. We enjoy doing business with investors and landlords, and thank you for choosing us to place your business with. So let's get to it real quick. So your liability, is very important that you have sufficient liability insurance on your auto policy, on your commercial policy, on your homeowner policy, so forth. Now, this is a little quote that we have. The more money you have, the more money properties you have, the more coverage you need. Why? Because you have more exposure. For example, someone that may like to entertain a lot at their house, their exposure is higher because you have more people coming in and out of your property. Therefore, it increases the chances of someone getting injured, something happening. So you want to make sure you have sufficient liability for that, because your liability, it covers you for things that you are held negligent for. So in the event that someone wants to sue you for your negligence, for your carelessness, then it would cover your liability would pay for it. Your homeowner's liability, your builder's risk, your auto liability, for example. All right. So getting back to it. Now, why is it important that you have important liability insurance, which pretty much I think we all know, because if you don't, then someone can sue you personally, and then they can start taking your assets, taking money, garnishing your wages. And at Illy Insurance Agency, our focus for our clients is to help you build your wealth as well as protect it. You don't want anything knocking it down, as you're trying to build. All right. So keep in mind, as a property owner, as a driver, so forth, you are responsible to control the risk as much as possible. Reduce the chances of something happening. So, for example, if you have a property, you want to make sure you know those holes. If you have any cracks in your sidewalk and your steps, you want to get those repaired, because someone can injure themselves on your property, and then they would sue you because you're responsible as a property owner of keeping your property in good condition, so no one gets injured inside the property or outside the property. All right. So when it comes to your auto liability, this is also important, because the national average is 100, 300, 100 when it comes to your liability limits. But the Pennsylvania state limits is only 1535. All right, so basically, if you want to get into an accident and there's one person in the car, all right, and you're at fault for that accident, and you hit someone and there's only one person in the car, then your insurance company is only going to pay $15,000 in medical payments, not to exceed $30,000 if it's more than one person in the car, and they're only going to pay $5,000 for property damage, which a lot of times is not enough coverage. So, we live in a state which is a litigious state, and people want to sue left and right. It doesn't take much now for someone to get an idea if you're worth suing. All right. So like I said, you're building your wealth. We want to help you protect it. We don't want anything to knock that down. So keep that in mind, investors and landlords, because like I said, the national average is 100, 300, 100. Okay. So just keep that in mind. Homeowners, everyone, just keep that in mind. You want to be a responsible driver while you're out on the road. If you severely injure someone, you want to have that liability coverage to make sure that they can get the medical treatment that they deserve. All right, so go into your umbrella liability insurance, which is very important, because you have personal umbrella insurance, and then you have commercial umbrella insurance. Now, your personal umbrella insurance is going to cover your assets, your properties, all your motor vehicles that are in your name. Your commercial umbrella insurance is going to cover those properties and vehicles that are in your business name, but it just gives you additional liability insurance on what's on top of what you currently have. All right. So like I said, this month, just keep in mind, it's about liability insurance, and it's about covering your behind. It's about liability insurance, and it's about coverage. All right, so another thing that you also want to keep in mind when it comes to investors and landlords, when you have contractors doing work inside your property, it's important that they have insurance as well, because you don't want to be held responsible for something that they were at fault for. So it's important that you request to be listed as an additional insured on their business policy. So therefore you are covered for their negligence or carelessness. And to see proof of that, you can request what is called a COI, a certificate of insurance, listing you as the additional insured and just showing proof that they do have insurance, okay? So also what will be discussed is coverage. You have basic coverage, you have broad coverage, you have special coverage. And I think we discussed this in a previous video on a previous month. But basic coverage when it comes to your property is pretty much just going to cover you for fire, wind and hail, theft. Pretty much just basic coverage. If you want more coverage, then the next tier up is broad coverage, which gives you water coverage. The next tier up, which is the best coverage, is special coverage. All right, so keep those things in mind. If you have any questions, give us a call at 215-439-4585, or feel free to go onto our website at iliinsurance.com, which we also have more information discussing the insurance policies that we offer. And last but not least, keep in mind co-insurance, all right? So co-insurance pretty much comes into play when you underinsure your property. So if you underinsure your property, if it is underinsured, and if you were to file a claim, you're not going to get the full amount of that claim. All right, so if you have any more questions regarding that, just give us a call. That is important to know. So keep in mind, you know, it's not always best to kind of be cheap when it comes to insurance. As an independent agent, that's why we are able to shop around the best coverage for you and the best price. So you don't have to compromise coverage for price. All right, so thank you so much for watching our video, and we hope you have a great